Oh, we need to know. We need to know. What we need to know? Was Nancy Guthrie a kidnapping, an abduction for ransom? Was it an elimination? Or was it just a complete hoax and Nancy was relocated under witness protection? You think about that, there's three things that could have happened. Either she was kidnapped for ransom, she was eliminated, and that was what it was for, is just to remove her by somebody that had ill will or sick of taking care of her. I don't know. Or was she relocated? So that's what I want to know today. So we're going to be drawing some cards, but I wanted to preference some things. I had someone ask some very important questions in the comments, and I do read the comments. And she was like, I do tarot, and I don't understand your tarot reading. One thing I need to make clear, I am not reading traditional tarot cards, though it is very similar to traditional tarot. I'm reading true crime tarot, which is about people that aren't leading a normal life, where there is red rum at times, or there is a crime that could happen, and so forth. We're talking about missing people. And so naturally, the cards have a slightly different meaning. Take in consideration that you, as a tarot reader, may have a book set way that you read tarot. That doesn't mean you're right. That means that's how you do it. And everybody reads tarot differently. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a psychic. I don't play one on TV. I'm not a medium, and I don't talk to the dead. I do not use spirit boxes. Tried them, even though they worked. I didn't like them. Church train coming through. Made me nervous. All right? Didn't like them. Gave me an uneasy feeling. And that's when I decided I needed to make it clear that Jesus is my Savior and that I talk to God. And only God. No other source, no other spirits can tap into me because I do not allow that. I only allow God to communicate to me. And that's the way I set it up for my life. Now, with that being said, let's go over. We'll do a reading together. I've got some cards here. We can do this one together. We're just going to reach into this bag and we're going to pull some random words out. We're going to do a tarot reading, and then you're going to get to ask your questions. Let's just grab this one. Let's grab this one and this one. They may mean nothing, all right? We're going to look at them together. But after I do my reading here, we're going to do 3 lives of 3. So we have another live after this. We're going to hand it over to our beautiful private eyes to start with. And our members can get their questions answered for the first 10 or 15 minutes. And then we'll switch it over on the other half to get to our big, broad, beautiful family of 1111s. Are you interested? Okay. We have late, ground. I can only think of scorched ground. I don't know why, but ground. And spoon. I do not know what that means. Spoon. You tell me what that means. That could mean drugs. I mean, people use a spoon. Drugs. It could mean cereal. People eat cereal with drugs, like serial killer. All right, I don't know. Spoon. It's kind of weird. Ish, can you please let me know which day do you have your live, as I do not get your notifications? Thank you. I do not set myself up that way, so I don't know if I'm going live till that day, because we're news-based. When news comes out or new information comes out, I go live. So I can't let you know because I don't know. I'm sorry. But like I said in the earlier live, pay attention to our community posts on YouTube, as well as I have Twitter and Facebook, and I advertise hours and hours before that I am going to go live that day. So that's the best I can do. If I was a friend or neighbor, I would definitely ask questions, try to find out what happened. But I don't see that at all. Thank you, Laney. Thank you. Ancestral Ghost, you are wonderful. And thank you so much for responding to that poster. I really valued your answer. And you say I've explained several times why you are reading different from the average. I call it traditional tarot. But I get the feeling that questionnaires don't understand. Well, the one thing mainly, and we're doing a little different today just because of that topic. So for a traditional tarot reader, let's say that they get the Seven of Pentacles, the money tree guy. He's got his hoe, he's got his garden, and that means divine timing. But when I look at it through true crime eyes, he planted the seed to grow that garden. Therefore, there's planting. When you go into true crime, planting often means staged, framing, and so forth like that. So you have to understand. But if you would like to learn how I read true crime tarot versus traditional tarot, I teach true crime tarot, and I have that in our true crime tarot lessons in our membership. Now it's a little higher tier, costs a little bit more. I think it's $9.99, and you don't have to stay at that tier forever, but it does give you access to every single lesson in the library, and it is a full series. So I hope that helps. Gail, hello, lovely. Welcome back. Scrubber creeps you out. All right, let's get over and get started. Whoa, black screen. What did you do, Mama D? So we have spoon. Why is the camera upside down? Hold on. We got to flip it. It's literally upside down. That's so much better. What? So we have spoon, we have ground, and we had lake and then ground. Okay. Let's put these up here. I have no idea. Maybe some will make more sense as we go. Sometimes that happens. All right, I'm going to dig right into the Truth Oracle. And I want to understand this. We're going to do something completely different. Where is my sticky notes? Right here. I wish I had a big, thick marker. But we're going to we'll go kidnap. Hopefully you can read it. It's not too small. Okay, so that's the kidnap, right? We're going to break this down. Elimination. I want to know, was she kidnapped? Was she eliminated? Or is this a relocation for her? Relocation hoax, we'll call it. Relocation hoax. And we won't even dig into, if it shows us why it's a hoax, fine. But we don't even need to know. We're going to put all these little cards over here on the side. We can always come back to them. Let's start off. Let's even spread these apart a little bit so we can get more information. All right. Let me put the logo somewhere else. Hold on, y'all. Let's take this logo. If I can grab it, well, I can't grab it. Let's put it way down here and make it smaller so that it doesn't interfere with our reading. How's that? I know it's a Mercury retrograde. Retrograde. And you'll be able to ask questions on the next live. Ish says, term spoon in criminal and psychological. I'm sorry, I just burped or hiccuped. Psychological context. Interesting. You got new cards you want to pull with me? Do it, Lisbon. Okay. Here we go. We're going to start off with the kidnapping. What cards come out with Nancy Guthrie? If we were talking about kidnapping. Show me the cards for Nancy Guthrie and kidnapping. Kidnapping. Abduction. Nothing so far. Okay. We've got commitment, an oath, an agreement, a pledge, and a promise. So we have a commitment. Let's go. Elimination. Murder. Got that. It says uninvited guest, surprise, accident, big change, moment of decision. So did it turn out, let me come up to top side, accident and elimination. Did it turn out that this was something that wasn't supposed to go wrong, but it turned into an elimination, an execution, if you will? because of the choices they made, but they didn't mean for it to happen. Oh, I keep hitting the blank screen. Okay, let's continue. We have the uninvited surprise, big change, accident, moment of decision, right? Uninvited guest. Did they forget to let her in? All right, so on the secret, scare her to death. Relocation hoax. Let's see what that is. We have the hidden truth. Boom! Hidden truth. Hidden things, secret, treasure, tip of the iceberg. See, this is where it goes. This is where it comes from. That is wild. Hidden truth, folks. You make it up. Crazy week for you, Michelle. I had that happen too. I've been having a completely crazy week. Just totally off the chart. Let me understand this. Kidnapping. Is this a kidnapping or Nancy Guthrie? A legitimate bad guy, abduction, kidnapping. Is this real? What's going on with these cards? They're all twisted sideways. Let's try this again. Nope. It's stuck. There's something about the energy. It's stuck. All right. Kidnapping. Nancy Guthrie. Okay. What? Life insurance scam, right? Commitment. Life insurance. All right. How interesting. Family there, huh? Even with the child. Elimination. The murder of Nancy Guthrie. Is that lie? That's a lie. It was not to eliminate her. It is more about money. Money, right? Now let's get over here. The hoax. Relocation. You have the hidden truth. Well, we're going to have to leave this here because look what just popped out over here under lies. Abuse and neglect. Lies. So something was being neglected in Nancy's life. And so lies were told on this uninvited guest and an accident happened. We have abuse and neglect, and we have the magician. Who said that earlier? Somebody talked about a magician. There he is, telling us lies. So it's not that they wanted Nancy dead. It's not that she was being, kidnapped by a bad guy that wanted to kill her, okay? But we do have the truth here, even though it's hidden right here. The hoax for relocation. Let's see what that is. Child, the parent and the child, right? I tell you, child. There it is. There it is. Whoop, whoop. Look, it's supposed to look like it was a natural disaster. Something did go wrong. Something did go wrong. But it was supposed to look like an assassination. That's the lie, right? It was supposed to look like she died. But we had something go major wrong that was out of their control during this hoax, because right now, that's where I'm leading, because that's the only place I'm finding the truth. And it talks about the child. Talks about the child of Nancy Guthrie. Remember, everything's alleged. This is my humble interpretation of the cards. And we will get your questions. On the bottom of the deck, I have healing. Is Nancy healing? See what I'm saying about relocation? Where she's taken to a place where she can heal. And then she passed away. And probably met her spouse in heaven. This was about egotism and power supply. See, they wanted that power. This was about egotism and power. And it's by organized crime, which could be, I don't know, scrubbing so you don't have to. Imprisonment. Legal proceedings. How interesting. Let's get into the tarot. All right, show me kidnapping Nancy Guthrie. Show me kidnapping with Nancy Guthrie. How's everybody doing over here? Okay, that didn't shuffle very well. The child card comes out a lot. Yes, it does-ish. God is amazing, truly. All I am is a vessel for the message. Truly, Lanny. No answers, right? All I can do is pull cards. Okay, kidnap. We've got commitment. We have life insurance. What is this all about? Was Nancy Guthrie truly kidnapped and abducted for ransom? A plan that didn't go anywhere. It was plan, that was action, I mean, not action because there's no action. That was a plan with no action. So in other words, a false narrative. When you get the 2 of Wands and you're doing true crime tarot, traditional tarot says this is a plan. You have to now take action because you're not taking action. You just got the plan. But when you look at true crime tarot, this is a plan that is more like a false narrative. It's a sense of a plan that no action really gets taken on it. And so this is saying, no, this didn't happen. Elimination. All right. We got the scrubbing card. Now, some people are like, how in the world do you get a scrubber out of the King of Pentacles? This is the dude that lasts forever. He is sitting on his throne forever. He's the bean counter, the accountant, the boring guy, the one that does all the work behind the scenes. He is in control, massive control. He's a very powerful king. He owns a lot of land, but he also sits on his ass and does nothing but give the orders for others to do the work. His salamanders are not salamanders. What are they? Grapes. I'm sorry. Grapes on his cloak, which are hard to grow. So whatever he's done has taken a long time. Now, through our other readings, many readings on the Nancy Guthrie case and asking about Savannah's husband, the scrubber, this card continued to be produced. And so going forward, I have decided that this is my scrubber card. Scrubber. What is he doing? What is this elimination? It's of swords, the clarity. Swords are words, words we speak, the clarity of something being completely clear and communicated. So in this sense, the elimination, the no more, Nancy being dead, in other words, is in a sense what the scrubber wanted communicated, is that Nancy was dead, that it had been an uninvited guest, that had abused her, maybe neglected her, and eventually took her life. But we have lies, and that's the clarity, because this is a false narrative by a scrubber. Now, let's get over into the hoax. Let's see what comes up in the cards. We have the Chariot. This is, in a sense, this is God's card. These little, they're not horses. They're lions or sphinx, whatever you want to call them. There's no reins because the divine nature of Source drives this in the right direction. This is the Chariot, Cancer energy. It also says that is the direction that this was really going. It's also transportation. Chariots are transportation. Now, that same person that was questioning my true crime reading, saying it didn't sound traditional tarot, said that the Queen of Swords does not stand for truth. I call bullshit. Here's why. Her sword is upright, and she's saying, come at me, but bring the truth. That's what the Queen of Swords is about. This can be somebody that is in court. This could be somebody very powerful, but it can also be somebody seeking the truth. It can be a truth speaker. It can be a very powerful woman. So this is almost as if this Queen of Swords is saying, hey, to the Queen of Wands. So we have two queens here. Remember, hoax, right? This is taboo. Queen of Wands. This is somebody that has the black cat. And we all love black cats. But in symbolic, the black cat can also be a symbolization. I don't even think that's a word, symbolization. It can be a symbol from our ancient times. A black cat was considered taboo. So the Queen of Wands is not afraid of what people think. She's going to go her own way. She's going to follow her passions. And this is almost saying, come at me, but tell me the truth. What does this person know? So very interesting that we have the Chariot, and then we have almost like two people together here, two feminine energies. Let me understand this relationship where this queen is saying, come at me, but bring me the truth, to this Queen of Wands. Are you kidding me? 3 queens? This is Nancy Guthrie's card. Same as the scrubber. We have done readings so many times in the past on this case, and when we talk about Nancy Guthrie, we get the Queen of Pentacles. This is an older queen. She's more experienced than the rest. She's kind of set in her way, does her own thing, very firm in her decision, but she's also extremely powerful. We have this queen with these other 2 queens. So if we looked at the feminines in this case, we have Savannah Guthrie, we have Annie Guthrie, it's Savannah Guthrie, Annie Guthrie, and then we have Nancy Guthrie, right? So that could be the 3 queens here. So what's going on here that we have 3 queens? Now, if this is a hoax, Nancy could be alive, or they set up a hoax and Nancy did not survive the hoax. Let's find out right here. See what these 3 queens came up with. Communication, hidden communication, because it's the 8 of Wands in reverse, a lot of fast-paced communication. About protection. So this is suggesting that what was used to get help to protect Nancy on this hoax was that Nancy's life was, in theory, in danger. And so it was communicated maybe to law. I told you this could be law. That Nancy's life was in danger. Maybe they saw the porch video from the 11th and knew she was in danger. Wouldn't that have triggered something on Nancy's phone, even a thumbnail like it did with the, it obviously did. That's how they found it. So it triggered her phone back when the picture of the perp was already at her house back in the middle of January. So could that have been staged in a sense to freak Nancy out and make her be more willing to follow along with the hoax? And maybe this was all about telling Nancy right here and the law, convincing the law and Nancy that she needed protection, communicating she needed protection. Is that where this witless protection came from? Strength is protection. At the home, Virgo, following your intuition, which is good for your health. 6th house, Virgo, it's talking about your long-term physical and mental health. So this is telling me that this was communicated that Nancy needed physical, mental, emotionally help, protection. And that if she knew what was good for her in a sense, she would take on this protection. So Nancy and the law were convinced that Nancy's life was in danger. Is this true? Show me an ace or a star or the sun or something. Okay. That is a gathering of minds. And it's almost as if it's a commitment to fake a kidnapping, right? Not go through with it. It's a gathering. 3 of Cups. With something you do since you were a child. This is the past. Wheel of Fortune is saying this is a repetitious thing that goes around and around and around and around a wheel. The fortune is when you've learned your lesson and you no longer repeat the cycle. You break free. You go do what you should do, and that's when you get your fortune. This is something that had happened in the past relentlessly, over and over and over again. We get the 6 of Cups. That is also a sense of the past repeating. Okay, there it is. Planted, staged. I explained this in the beginning before the read, that this is the 7 of Pentacles. You had to plant the seed. This is a hoax. This is planted. This is staged. It's something they used to do in the past. Could that be the kidnapping game from when they were children? Is that what they communicated, right, in their meeting of the minds? And that got Nancy protection. And it was communicated that there was somebody visiting the home. Maybe that was the threat. Let's understand this a little better. There it is, judgment. This would tell me I'm right. Judgment's the final yes. All right, you guys, in summary, out of kidnapping, elimination, and relocation hoax, I'm going with hoax again, because that's what the cards are suggesting. I mean, the hoax is the only one that got the hidden truth. The hoax is the one that got the child, right? And their partner. The hoax of death, when really she's healing and from a natural disaster. Tells me that the illumination is lies, that it was made to look like an assassination. And it could be because of neglect, Nancy not wanting help. And elimination, if it's lies, it was made to look like it was an uninvited guest, but it's really lies, an illusion. That's what magicians do. So you can see where I'm getting that theory from. Kidnapping. They have a commitment about life insurance. That's it. Yeah. Coming up to top side. I'm just saying. That's how I read cards. You can read them how you want. You might interpret them completely different. And that's absolutely fine too. That's good, Lanny. Mom had done some tarot classes, but made so much sense. Thank you. Reflections owner says, when we work for someone, they are the boss. Workers do what the boss says. I don't know why I'm hiccuping today. Aristocrat, hello, lovely. Good to see you. All right, my lovelies, are you ready to ask your questions? You ask so much better questions than I do. Truly. And I love your questions. Sometimes we run a little long because you get my curiosity going. You get my thinker thinking. And I appreciate you. So if you would love to continue on with me as much as I would love to have you, we are going to do the time warp again. I want to say thank you for joining me today on this. And if you can't, I hope that you'll catch a replay if you so choose. I want to say thank you, and it's time. Are you guys ready? Let's get our thing going. All right, and just like that.
From the dust I was born, to the dirt I shall return. When my eyes are closed, in the shadows, my enemies will think they won, but I am here to stay. Destiny will overcome, no, I am not afraid. Like a phoenix in the night, my soul will rise. From the darkness to the light, I feel alive. I'm a fire, burning bright, I'll never die. Like a phoenix.